Just remember last year at this time we were in a fucking cage in school, okay?
You remember. I like to forget that.
I say be happy with what you got.
You'll be happy. Me, I want what's coming to me.
Oh, well, what's coming to you, Tommy?
The world, Chico. And everything in it.
Oh, man.
The world we live in today encourages us to be very realistic, logical, and look at things black and white, which in most cases seems the appropriate way to approach life. This is how the majority of people tend to think, especially in the Western world, where we predominantly use the left side of our brains, which deals with logic and reasoning. The problem with this is that we go about our day-to-day lives making judgments based on what we see and hear when we can only see less than 1% of reality. To be precise, the human eye can only perceive 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum, which we would call the visible spectrum, leaving 99.9965% being hidden from us. Now, why is this important? Because if we can only perceive less than 1% of reality, it would be unwise to then try and compute and dictate reality for ourselves from such a small percentage. In other words, most of us try and make sense and base all of our thoughts and dreams on a small fragment of reality, instead of understanding that there are more unseen forces that exist that contribute to the way our realities have been formed. Most of the things that have manifested in our lives have been formed in ways that we don't even understand. Just take a look at the people around you. They live lives in which they cannot understand how the things that happen to them happen to them. Then you have people that will say they want a particular type of life, yet their current conditions are the complete opposite, and they themselves can't understand why. If I told you to say that you have an unlimited amount of money or that you are living such a great life, there's probably a high chance that you wouldn't want to say that, as either it isn't true or if you do say it, the logical part of you will tell you that's a lie, providing the evidence of your current reality being in the state that it is currently in. This is the issue that many of us face. We live in a very logical, evidence-based state, and if we don't have the evidence to suggest our reality is the way we want it to be, we will believe all the self-limiting beliefs that keep us in our current state, which for most of the world is the reality we don't want. So the question is, what do you have to do to be in the reality you desire? It's quite simple. You have to be delusional, like the character we are about to talk about today. Now we are simply talking about a particular attribute of Tony Montana in the movie Scarface, and not his character as a whole before you start to talk about his flaws and some of his decisions, which may or may not have been correct. Also, although it is a movie, it still can teach us key things that we can put into practice in our own lives, as the wise man learns from everything and everyone, whereas the fool has all the answers. The only things that are true are what we believe to be true. This is very important to understand because some of the worst people from a personality standpoint have abundant lives compared to some of the most humble, good people who have realities that they don't want. The reason for this is simply because of one's beliefs about the world. How many examples do you see online or in your own reality where some of the most narcissistic, cruel, and selfish people have abundant lives and loads of wealth? They have this because of what they believe to be true. I explain this in more detail in one of my other videos, The Dark Psychology of Rich People. They have a particular mindset charged by strong emotions that align them to the type of reality that most people probably want. They have what most people would deem a delusional mindset, which in actuality isn't delusional if you understand how the laws of the universe work. It is delusional to the common person, however, because if you were to suggest these things to people around you, they would think what you are saying is foolish or unrealistic, because they derive their whole reality off of logic. Tony Montana had a very delusional mindset in the movie Scarface, which is the very reason he reached the heights that he did, and without that mindset he wouldn't have, and I need you to understand how important this is. It was his delusional mindset that was emotionally charged, which is key to manifesting as thought alone isn't strong enough. That got him to where he got to in the movie. His best friend in the movie, Manolo, was the more realistic one out of them. And if he were the leader of the two, there's a strong chance they wouldn't have reached the heights that they did. Throughout the movie, Tony consistently believed that he was destined to reach the top, as he used to constantly say things like, "The world is yours," and "I want everything in it," and he was right. The world is our oyster, and it is our birthright to have what we want, but our logic prevents us from actually obtaining what it is we want. He truly believed the world was his, and he could do what he wanted, which resulted in him having the power he had. For example, when he overthrew his boss Frank Lopez, he had the confidence to execute such a move, which in theory is very dangerous and could have gotten him killed. But due to Tony's delusional mindset that he is the most powerful person in the world, that confidence allowed him to take that risk that others wouldn't take, even when you add on the fact that he took his boss Frank's wife. Tony, from the day he met her, already believed that she was his wife and acted as if this were reality. And that's the thing. Even though in reality, it wasn't his wife, in his reality internally it was, and it eventually became a reality in the outer world. The key here is to understand that part of having a delusional mindset is already believing that the reality you desire exists in your internal world, even if externally your outer world suggests otherwise. Where we go wrong is we don't believe things to be true unless we see it in our external world, and this actually encourages our current realities to become more and more concrete. Then we wonder why our realities never change to what we actually desire. For example, you might think you want to be rich, but your current reality says that you are broke, and because you are logical, you tell yourself that you are broke. The latter thought is emotionally charged with sadness, anger, or whatever negative emotion it is charged with. So this thought has a stronger charge of energy, and this is what the universe registers to be true and perpetuates this more and more into your reality. Remember, emotion is energy in motion. So like Tony, you have to understand that the thoughts you have that are the most emotionally charged are the ones that will reflect in your reality. So you can think all you want that you're going to be rich and powerful, etc. But when bad things happen in your life, which they will, as this is the law of polarity, and you display strong emotions like fear, anger, and sadness, all you are doing is confirming to the universe that this is what you want more of in your reality, and the universe will give it to you as the universe is law-based. It doesn't favor or not favor anybody, it just is. As Tony strongly believed in the example of Frank, that his wife was his wife, and that Frank's empire was his internally with unwavering confidence, it became true externally. He didn't need to see reality change or have his desires delivered to express the emotions that were concurrent to that reality. Instead, he already had those emotionally charged thoughts, which are true internally, and so the universe made true externally. Even when he went to meet Alejandro Sosa for the first time, Tony's self-deluded perception of him being invincible made him willing to stand up to him, even though Sosa was a powerful Bolivian drug lord. Tony had not even taken over Frank's empire yet, as he was still working under him, but he was conversing with Sosa by making business propositions as if he were the boss, which from a universal frequency perspective is very powerful. He even had an argument during the exchange with Sosa, with Omar, whom Frank sent with Tony to meet Sosa, as he kept interrupting the conversation with Sosa and Omar when Tony was initially sent as protection for Omar. He wasn't there to do any deals with Sosa, yet he was talking to Sosa as if they were equals, when in fact Sosa was far more powerful than he was. This is what we mean when we say you have to be delusional to manifest, just like Tony was. He was already acting as if he had the kind of power Sosa had through the way he was communicating with him, and even throughout the movie, before any of that power arrived in his external reality. This is what caused his reality to shift to match how he felt internally. His delusional mindset is what helped him manifest the power he acquired. He even said to Sosa, when it was just himself with him, "I have to hand it to you, Mr. Sosa, you've got everything a man could want," confirming that he completely acknowledges the position Sosa is in, although he was conversing with him as if they were both on the same level. Where you go wrong is you wait for the desire to arrive before you experience the emotions attached to your desires when the desire is just the middleman. You have to be delusional, already have the emotions, and act in the way your desired self would. And the universe will present the circumstances that are matched to those emotions, as those are the ones with the strongest charge. In simple terms, if you go around with the emotionally charged thought that you are rich, if that is your desired reality, you act in the manner your desired self would, and you allow yourself to experience the emotions that your desired self would have repeatedly, you are projecting to the universe to display more and more circumstances that match that state of consciousness. And that is how manifestation works, not praying and saying out loud that you want a certain type of reality, but your emotionally charged thoughts suggest otherwise, which leads me on to another crucial factor about being delusional. A very important part about being delusional here is to not let your old frequency get the better of you or put you into your old state, as this will keep you in your current reality. This is important because when you are trying to enter your desired state, the universe will put obstacles in front of you that will try and bring you back into your old state. For example, in trying to behave and think in the state of a rich person, the universe will present situations that reiterate the old version of you that is not rich to get an emotional reaction out of you, which keeps you stuck in your current state. This is why people never get to their desired reality, because every time they try to leave it through whatever method they have been told to do, whether that be affirmations, positive thinking, or any other method, once the universe puts the tests in front of them to see if they really are on a new frequency, they fail because they react with the same emotionally charged thoughts that match their current reality. These reactions just bring you back into the current state that you are trying to leave. This is why you have to be delusional when these tests arrive, as they most certainly will. You have to not allow these tests to deter your thoughts, no matter how challenging, as this is what Tony was able to do throughout most of the movie. The reason the universe tries to initially bring you back into your current state when you are trying to leave it and enter a new frequency, your desired reality, is because the universe is just trying to bring equilibrium always. Whenever you are trying to leave and enter a higher frequency, you are actually indicating to the universe that you are out of alignment, and the universe will initially respond by trying to bring you back into alignment, which is your old frequency. This is where most people fail, because they fail the tests that the universe brings them, and eventually get brought back into their old frequency every time they try to leave it. What you have to do is tell the universe, not literally, that you are not out of alignment by not responding to these tests with the same emotionally charged thoughts that your old frequency would have, and instead, not let these tests affect you emotionally and mentally because you in your desired state wouldn't. Instead, you have to be and act the way you would if you were in your desired state already. This lets the universe know that your desired state is actually where you are supposed to be, and once you have passed these tests, the reality of your desired state will be unfolded as it has unfolded internally through your emotionally charged thoughts. A delusional mindset, like Tony Montana's, can be a powerful tool for manifesting your reality because it allows you to believe in things that aren't yet visible. It pushes you beyond your comfort zone, fuels your ambition, and allows you to take bold actions. I know it goes against all that you learnt in life in terms of being very logical and believing more of what you see with the eyes rather than what you see with the mind, but this is what is preventing you from manifesting your reality. But remember when I referred to the tests that are given to you by the universe when trying to manifest? The other test the universe gives you is that it will make nothing in your reality change, to make you think that all the work you are doing internally is being done for nothing, which brings back your old frequency's emotions, which again keeps you in your current reality. Because we are so fixated on believing our realities are changing only when we see it physically change is what keeps us from manifesting our desired reality. The key to manifesting is being able to shift to a point where you are not reliant upon seeing reality change. In simple terms, you are good with your desired reality, and you are good without it. It is hard to do because we are so attached to our desired reality that if we don't experience it, we feel negative emotions like depression and sadness. But this is what keeps you in your current state, if you are not yet in your desired reality. Remember, part of the delusional mindset is already believing that your desired reality is here and experiencing the emotions linked to it already, instead of waiting for it to arrive to experience them. Your desired reality is just the middleman to the emotions you want to experience, and you don't have to wait for that middleman. You can just experience those emotions now and act accordingly, like Tony did before he became powerful, as you can only have what you already have.